Well, this whole getting gas thing is turning into a hell of a tedious annoyance. Yeah, I really gotta square away my Costco card and get back to like my normal method of getting gas. So I just pulled up there. It's 9:43 now. I've been there sitting for a while, trying to figure out what the fuck to do next. Come on, shift car. Sometimes it helps if I drop it into low and then go. Yeah, the store wasn't open. As I was walking up to it, it was locked and closed. Whoever was in there was counting out his cash for the day, which of course gives me cause to wonder, was it open when I drove by it earlier on the way to Circle K and forgot I needed to stop and get gas? Maybe. They're open for pay at the pump. Oh, with all the shit I've lost in the last week or so, the only bank card I have left in my pocket is my Wells Fargo credit card, which is quite a bit over its limit. And every time I log into my online banking and then I click to look at that, it's like, you need to pay this right now. Right now. Yeah, as if I have money to pay for that right now. Sorry for the inconvenience. Maybe you fools shouldn't have dropped my credit limit so dramatically without any warning. Going just fine with the credit limit I had before. I was always making my payments, never missed a payment, still haven't missed a payment. The ones that let me go over a credit limit, and credit limit that was well below what my credit limit was 2 weeks ago. Not happy with Wells Fargo credit right now. So anyway, while I was sitting there and being frustrated at the fact that I couldn't pay for gas at the pump, couldn't go inside and pay for gas with cash, tried downloading Gas Buddy. That's kind of a challenge right now too. Normal things that are real easy for me to do are like super challenging right now. There's issues with the phones and issues with services and stuff. So I have my iPhone on a yearly prepaid plan with Mint Mobile. And that's long from running out. But I think it only gives me like 15 gigs. And I might be wrong. I'm bad at remembering numbers. But I think it only gives me 15 gigs a month. And I blew through it fast this month. I don't know exactly how I did it. But I've got a good, solid 2 weeks until I'm going to have any data on that phone. So, like, I can check email. That's pretty effective. Reddit works very well as long as I'm not trying to watch videos or look at high resolution pictures. But downloading apps, forget about it right now. And for some reason, I couldn't get it to connect to the hotspot on Obama Phone 5. Obama Phone 5 apparently has plenty of data. It's just intermittent and slow. I'm not in your lane, dude. You can just fuck off. That'd be great. I think I got better horn rhythm than that guy does. So yeah, for some reason I couldn't... Why are you dinging? So for some reason I couldn't get my iPhone to connect to my hotspot on Obama Phone 5. Obama Phone 5 is, not only is it awful, but it's completely out of space. Like, I can't install any apps on it. It has no space for apps right now. And so I checked Obama Phone 3, which is out of space for recording video, but that's space on the micro SD card. There's still some space on its internal memory, and it connected automatically as soon as I enabled the hotspot on Obama Phone 5. Obama Phone 3 has no service at all, by the way, and hasn't had for quite some time, which is just the way I like it. So, yeah, using the hotspot, it took a little while to figure out, like, what the fuck phone can I get to work and get on the internet to download an app? But anyway, I downloaded, well, looks like things are sketchy as always down here at the 44th Street in Van Buren Circle K. All right. Looking to the left, there's an open pump, but so often at a Circle K, open pump means out of order pump, but it looks like it's working. I ended up having to use Obama Phone 3 through the hotspot on Obama Phone 5, but I was able to download and install Gas Buddy, which I have not used in... Wow, is this happening, really? Yeah, that's right. I already did one loop around this gas station. I'm ahead of you, dude. This place is fucking chaos. It's 9:55 p.m. and this Circle K is absolutely nutty. So I got $20. The car says hi. I got $20 worth of gas. I am shocked that, according to Gas Buddy, this is the cheapest gas station without using any kind of rewards points and without, using like a Costco membership or anything. This used to be one of the more expensive stations, and at the moment, it's even cheaper than the Arco that I just went to out of habit because it's usually the cheapest. Yeah, it's $3.77, and I think the Arco was like $3.89. So, which explains why it's so busy here, because I know I ain't the only one using Gas Buddy. I mean, why the pumps are so busy. It's just funny because it used to be any Circle K that had Shell gas would be extra pricey, and particularly this one. Like, I used to never get gas here because this one used to be extra pricey. So I had a woman try to panhandle me going into the Circle K, and a different one trying to panhandle me going out. Let's see if I can get them both on video. See if they're still lurking around here. Of course, they're both women, so... The one sitting down on the left, that's the one that asked for money when I was trying to go in. I told her I was $10,000 in debt. I needed $10,000 to get myself out of debt. That woman walking ahead of me to the left there, yeah, that was the one that asked for money pretty sure that was the one that asked for money on the way out. So she could go get a drink. I told her I already got my drink for the day. I know I should probably be more charitable, but I'm working so hard right now. Like, the amount of hours and shit that I'm putting in to still be struggling trying to make ends meet. Yeah, ladies, get out of the Circle K parking lot. Get yourself a job. Do something other than asking people that are working really hard just trying to get gas in their car for money. So when I went in to prepay for my gas, I told the cashier, who was fairly cute, by the way, middle-aged woman, I guess she's probably in her, I would guess late 30s, early 40s. Not stunningly beautiful or anything, but definitely cute. Had a really nice smile. And she, yeah, I told her it's like, I said, the panhandlers are out in full force in your parking lot. And I don't expect her to deal with it. She's got a tough enough job as it is. But I figure she should know. And she goes, yeah, you should beat them off. Great word choice. Like, no, I'm thinking about doing that to myself later. No, that's not what I said. But she said, you should beat them off. I started laughing, and I'm like, ooh, no, that's nasty. You nasty. You're nasty. And she smiled real big and said, yeah, sometimes. So I think that woman was flirting with me. I just smiled back and said, right on, good to know. So I hope I see her again sometime soon. That sounds promising. Anyway, I had to go back in there. Neither of the panhandlers said anything to me when I went back in. When I got done pumping my gas on the gas pump, I'm so used to the prepaid routine, or to the pay with credit card routine, where I pull up, I put my card in. Most of the time, I'm at Costco and I top off the tank. Occasionally, I don't have time to make it to Costco, and I get like 10, 20 bucks, whatever, on a card. I stop it, and then it says, you want a receipt? And I say yes, and of course half the time it's Circle K, the receipt printers don't work. That's a whole nother ordeal. But this particular time it said, see cashier inside for receipt. I'm like, man. And then I felt like an idiot, because I probably could have just asked for that when I gave her the gas before, and she was telling me about who I should beat off. But yeah, she shift car. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, she so I went back and I'm like, the pump said to come in here for a receipt. And she goes, oh, okay. And I just kind of tugged on my shirt right below the Domino's logo. I said, yeah, I need that as long as I'm doing this. That's a tax deduction. And she's like, oh yeah, definitely get that. I should have asked her name. She was really cute. So I haven't managed to get out I have Gas Buddy on Obama Phone 3 now. Guess that's something I need now. They've got a whole bunch of perks and programs now that I qualify for. Should probably when I get home just dig around with it and see if I can get me some discounts while I'm still stuck paying cash for gas. Costco looks closed already anyway. Of course, they probably weren't closed when I got off work. I forget what time Costco gas closes. It looks like they got security out in Pierce Park, shining lights and rolling around. That's a good thing. I'm tired of all the bums hanging out in the park at night. I was going to say a story about what happened at Domino's. I'm just too exhausted. I'm filling up this iPhone with too much video that I don't have room for. At least it all gets sucked off to the iCloud. I just said sucked off. Yes, it all gets sucked off to the iCloud while I'm sleeping, which frees up lots of space. So I guess that's one of the perks of the iPhone. I don't know how to go about expediting that process though to free up space, which I want to at least get one more chapter of my vlog worked on before I go to sleep tonight. The story about what happened at Domino's, it's gonna have to wait, or can I do a super short version? I mean, I've got like half the story out. I keep getting hung up the same spot of where I called out the name of a driver that I'd got 2 orders ready for him and dispatched for him, and I was feeling so good because I struggle so much doing the ovens because there's so many things that aren't pizza and I just really don't know how to do them, and like I'm trying to learn, but it's just so much, and I don't tend to. It takes a lot for me to remember stuff. I'm better at remembering where the directions are and following the directions or looking at them, but that's kind of what I need. Like I need charts of stuff in front of me that reminds me how to do it. And they don't have that there. I'm supposed to memorize all this. Although I've noticed that one person, so they got all these products now. Like when I worked at Domino's Pizza back in '99, and also a 90 for that matter. Like, we sold pizza. We sold hand-tossed pizza in 3 different sizes, and we hardly ever sold the small. For the most part, just large and medium hand-tossed pizza. That was it. I don't recall us. We might have had thin crust, but nobody ever bought it, I think. Anyway, we didn't have all the other shit like wings and garlic knots and baked subs and brownies and God, I don't even know what else on the menu. We got pasta and granted, 90% of what we're selling is just pizza, but there's all this other crap, and I don't know what to do with most of it. And as I mentioned the other day, like I made a big mess out of these cheesy tater tots, trying to follow like I asked her to show me what to do, told me what to do, and then I tried to follow the directions she told me, and I made a big mess. Because generally speaking, when people tell me directions, something goes wrong with the communication for me. Like I feel like I'm following the directions, I don't know. It's a constant struggle with me. With that, like I don't, don't tell me, come here and show me. But of course, she's too busy to come there and show me because she's making pizzas all the time. Well, when she's not texting on her phone, she does that simultaneously, like while making pizzas, which I'm pretty sure is a health code violation. But anyway, so I was feeling good. Like I managed to get both orders that were ready to go for the next driver out and assigned to him. And I felt like I did everything just perfect. I called out his name, completely oblivious to the fact that because I don't know the driver's names, I just figured I'd say the person's name and whatever he was doing, side work or whatever, he'd come get his pizzas and out the door. Well, come to find out, the driver whose name I called was helping a customer at the counter. Now, I have yet to figure out how to use the register. I always get stuck at the first step. Well, there's 2 things I get stuck at. I get stuck on the first step, which is keying in your ID number, because I can't remember my ID number. So they're like, oh, key in your ID number. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to go get my iPhone and then look it up. And then, like, I just get that pained look of like, well, you don't know it? No, I don't know it. I can't remember numbers. They think I'm making this shit up. Like, it's just... Ask me where ask me the name of my mental health clinic. I can't remember that either. But I can remember every style of traffic light pole that the city of Phoenix has ever used and roughly what time they used them. My brain isn't wired right. I can't explain that. It just kind of is what it is. So I called his name, didn't realize he was helping his customers. I don't really know what's going on with the customers. I've been just completely... Now, basically what I do when a customer comes in and I notice that I'm the one that's most able to help them, because I don't know how to use the register, and every time I've tried to use the register, it's just been disastrous. The other problem with it is that the screen is really dirty and really dim and really reflective, and I have trouble seeing what's on the screen. When I look at it, I just see all the stuff that it reflects. I don't see what's on the screen. And I mentioned that to Jesus, who's like one of the assistant managers there. And I mentioned it to him, and he goes, well, so when you're looking at that, you're just looking at the reflection? I said, no, but when I'm looking at it, I see so much of the reflection that I can't really see the other thing. And he's like, well, he goes, oh, why is that? I said, I don't know, probably because I'm autistic. I just tend to see everything, and I'm just seeing a whole lot of reflection. It's hard for me to see anything else on that screen. And he goes, oh, okay. And he just had that pained look on his face. But it is what it is. Like, and if I was the manager, I would do something about that screen, whether it was put a matte, crank up the brightness and the contrast, or angle it differently, or put some kind of a matte screen cover on it that stops it from being so reflective. Because that's legit a problem to me. I'm not just making shit up so I don't have to run the register. I'd love to learn how to run the register, but I struggle just to even see it. Plus, they use a mouse on it, and the mouse is set where it can only really be used by a right hand, and I can't use a mouse with my right hand. I'm left-handed. I'm somewhat ambidextrous, but a mouse with my right hand, it just absolutely doesn't work. I struggle to even clock in, and like yesterday I messed up clocking in, and I'm sure it had to do with mousing with my right hand. Now I have been able to help some customers, because a lot of times customers that are coming in, they're picking up prepaid orders, takeout orders that they paid for either on the app or on the website, or they've called in to, like they've called in and ordered their pizza, most likely through Domino's call center, and given a credit card. So it's already paid. It's already got their name. I don't need to use the register for that. I just need to get their name, walk to the wall, see if their order's up. If their order's up, hand it to them and thank them for coming to Domino's. Be a friendly, good customer service person. I can do that. It's that register that has the crazy reflective screen that I can't make heads or tails out of, and I have trouble seeing anything other than my own reflection in when I look at it, and the reflection of the lights behind me, and the right-handed mouse that I can't get to point anywhere that I'm trying to point at. And then of course I get stuck on the number that, well, you need to put in your number. I don't know what my number is. So anyway, the driver. I call out the driver and say, I got your order ready, or blah blah blah, your order's ready to go. And he turns around. I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize who it was, but at that moment I realized, oh, it's that guy is the guy who's helping customers. And I'm just assuming, I didn't realize I was creating a crisis, but suddenly it turned into this big crisis that I created. I thought I was doing the right thing. I was feeling really good that I was able to make it through packing up 2 consecutive orders on the ovens, which I struggle with, because there's so many things I don't know how to do. But fortunately, this was pizza. I know how to read the pizza tags. I know how to cut the pizza. I know how to box the pizza and do that. So I know how to do that. And I didn't have any of the things I didn't know how to do. And was able to read the tags, able to dispatch them out and pull the credit card slips and match them up. And I had them perfectly prepped out for whoever the driver was. It would seem to me that if that was that driver, the logical thing for him to say is thank you, finish up with the customers, and then grab the pizzas and out the door. But apparently that's not quick enough for Samantha, the manager. No, it needs to go right now. Well, why did I assign it to him? Because he's the next driver on the list. You told me the next driver on the list is who I'm supposed to assign it to. And he goes, oh, can you take care of those customers? No, I don't know how to work the register. Let's not forget my in-person communication skills leave a lot to be desired, because mental health and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, it became this whole ordeal, and actually this was before Samantha had shown up, thank God. But it was one of the other assistant managers that was there, who apparently is super frustrated with Samantha. And then the guy who hired me, I forget his name, the guy was, texting on the regular, kept saying, oh, we're still waiting for your background check. That guy was in there today. And he's like the regional manager or whatever. And he was there, and I overheard him and then the shift manager, who suddenly was having a meltdown because I had assigned the next 2 orders, which I totally got did. I thought I did everything right, and assigned it to the next driver that was up on the list. If he's not available to take drivers, we're not able to take orders, why is he the next one up on the list? Well, because you don't log out when you're doing something. But I don't know, why couldn't those pizzas just wait however long it takes for him to finish it up? What was he doing with those people that would take so long? I don't know. I don't get it. None of this shit makes any sense to me. But then, and he's like, well, can you sign it to me? And I'm like, well, I don't. He goes, well, can you go ahead and take them, Dan? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I just assigned them to him because he was next. And then the other guy turns around and goes, oh, he dispatched him to me. Okay, I don't know how to undispatch. maybe it can't be done. If so, that's a problem with the software. Maybe we should have better software. Or maybe we should quit using this stupid software and just go back to using paper tags. Because we never had any of these kind of problems with Domino's back in the day when everything was just done on paper. But yeah, my neighbor with the bug just showed up. I'm gonna finish the story as soon as I get inside. And I'm back. So that neighbor is really cool. Although the conversation we had was a little bit awkward. He asked if I cut all my hair off, and I realized that I was still wearing it in a Domino's hat with it all pulled up inside the hat. I'm like, oh no, I'm delivering for Domino's. This is in the hat. This is how they like it. And I pulled the hat off. A little pony knob like pops out from under the hat. He's like, oh, and when did you start doing that? I said, I just started recently. It's extra money. It's a good thing. And then he asked what happened with my forklift job. I'm like, oh yeah, they fired me. The last time I talked to him about what I was doing for work, I was so excited about having got the job, the forklift job at Williams-Sonoma, because he used to be a forklift operator, and he was really happy for me, and I was really happy for me, but it ended up not being the sweet job I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I just told him they let me go because I was sick and missed a bunch of days, and they just decided I was unreliable, which is basically the truth. Anyway, he's a nice guy. So as I was saying, this whole fiasco at work, I don't know if I want to call it fiasco, but it was just super awkward. And it left me feeling just really confused and lost, and because I thought I was doing something so good, and then suddenly I'd created a problem, but I created a problem following the directions of what I've been told I should be doing. And I don't understand what the ordeal was of him just finishing whatever he was doing with those customers and then taking the pizzas out. I mean, I put them all in hot bags. It's not like the pizzas are going to get cold. I mean, what's the big deal about, it's just crazy they're so worried about the numbers. I mean, so it takes an extra 2 minutes. I mean, how much longer could it have possibly taken it to deal with these customers? I mean, another minute, another 2 minutes. I mean, if somebody gets their pizza in 14 minutes, or somebody gets their pizza in 16 minutes, I don't think that customer is going to really notice the difference. I mean, it'd be one thing if, they end up getting their pizza in like 35 or 40 minutes, but those, I just pulled them out of the oven. I just bagged them up. It's not like they were late, I don't think. And then suddenly that's such a big deal. And it's like all my fault. And I'm just like, and they're, asking me, like, why'd you do that? I'm like, because that's what I was told to do. So, and he's like, so I guess because of what I did in the computer, they couldn't assign them to me. I mean, I didn't assign them to me because it wasn't my turn. He was ahead of me. I'm not trying to cheat and take advantage of anything or anyone. Just trying to do the right thing. And I don't know what he's doing with the customers, but whatever it is, it's involving using a computer that I don't know how to do, and I can barely see the screen on, and I can't really maneuver it very well because of the mouse being positioned where I can't put my left hand on it, and it has to be done with the right hand, and I can't really maneuver a mouse with my right hand. So, and to be fair, I haven't looked to see if it's got a long enough cord for me to move it on the other side of the keyboard. That might be a really simple solution to that. But I always get hung up on my putting in my number and trying to go look up my number and stuff. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with those customers, and I don't know what any of the stuff on the screen means. I don't know any of that stuff. I can't do anything to help them. So they asked if I could help those, well, okay, well, can you help the customers? I said, no, because I don't know how. I don't know how to use any of that. And then the manager's looking like all pained, like this is like I've somehow done something really terrible or I'm inadequate or whatever. And he goes, well, you go ahead and says to him, the next driver goes, well, go ahead and get those pizzas out. They need to go out since can't redispatch them, and I'll help these people. But he's busy making pizzas. Like, and even with him making pizzas, like, why can't that wait for, a minute while he goes, finishes, and helps the people? Sorry, I can't do it. I don't know how to do that. Nobody has had the patience and time to train me. And I've got some challenges with learning that kind of stuff. I'm not unwilling to learn. But everybody else seems unwilling to teach it in a way that I can understand it and grasp it and become proficient at it. I mean, I've certainly learned how to do much more difficult things. I mean, for fuck's sake, I know how to drive a forklift and how to and somewhat mastered the software that Amazon used for tracking pallets that was called I forget what the hell that software was called, but I got really good at it. Shit, I even figured out a way to print a type of label for receive pallets that nobody else knew how to print. Just because I thought, well, maybe if I do this, this, and this, it'll do it, and it did. So it's not like I can't learn to do stuff like that, but I just need someone patient enough to teach me in the way that I learn, and I do have learning challenges because of my mental health issues. So nobody's willing to do that. Nobody has the patience for that. So anyway, the customers are there. So the other guy runs out and grabs the pizzas and runs out the door and kind of leaves the customers hanging there. The manager guy, not Samantha, but I don't know, some other guy who's got like long hair and he's got pulled up. He's super frustrated with Samantha. He was talking to Frank about how he wants to go to a different store because he can't stand working with Samantha. He feels like he's under too much pressure or whatever. And I guess I feel like I'm under a lot of pressure there sometimes too, but I'm just trying to take a step back and realize that I absolutely don't need that job. I don't. Like, they could completely just decide they don't want me there, and I could be like, okay, bye, and just be picking up better paying jobs off of Wonolo that aren't trashing my car. I'd miss getting to eat free pizza and sandwiches and wings and stuff at night, but other than that, like, I'll be fine. But I mean, this guy, I think that job's kind of his life. I don't think he thinks he can do anything else. Because I mentioned to him about, how I made $171 at HelloFresh. He's like, well, is it difficult work? I'm like, no, I'm just putting meat in boxes. Little light flash tell you what meat goes in what box. It's not rocket science. The pay is pretty good. I was going to give him a link to sign up on Wonolo. He's like, well, think about it. The customers have seen this whole exchange go down. And he said that he's going to help the customers, but he's not stopping working on the pizzas to come help the customers. I mean, it seems to me those pizzas, if it takes another minute or two to get them made, it's not the end of the world. Just stop the pizzas to help the customers. They're here in the store right now. I can't help them. I don't know what to do with them. Well, I'm standing there, and the customers saw this whole exchange go down, and then they start asking me like all these questions. And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about that. And then the customers are getting like frustrated with me. But what part of I don't know anything about that aren't you guys getting? So they're asking me these questions. I'm like, well, I can't answer that. I don't know anything about that. I said, I don't do any of this. It's equivalent of asking your plumber what's wrong with your electrical wiring. The guy doesn't do electrical wiring. He fixes toilets and pipes. I'm not a cashier, I'm a delivery expert. It's not the same thing. Anyway, it was super awkward, and I didn't really know what to do when the customers just kept asking me questions, even though I kept answering with, well, I don't know about that, I don't know. And then they were asking me for something that we sell for free for their troubles. Like, really, I've already told you guys I don't know how to do any of this stuff. You honestly think I have the authority to give you something? I didn't say that to him, but it was just kind of like, I'm sure the look I gave him said that. And I'm trying so hard to get the manager to go over and talk to them because they keep asking me questions. I'm like, well, I can't answer that. I'd have to ask him. And then I walk over and I'm trying to explain what they said, but I don't really remember exactly what they said. So I'm just like, well, they had some questions about these things, and I'm holding the things up that we sell. There's some kind of like seasoning shaker container things. And he's like, oh yeah, we sell those. I'm like, well, can you go talk to those customers, please? Oh, well, Anyway, I don't remember exactly what happened. I think I just walked into the back room to get myself out of the situation before I had a panic attack over it. Because it was just so awkward and stressful, and I just don't understand why dude couldn't walk away from the pizzas to help the customers, or other dude couldn't just finish helping the customers and then take the pizzas out. The world isn't going to end because somebody gets their pizzas 2 minutes later. Meanwhile, we're giving these customers that are in the lobby right now a terrible customer service experience. But of course, that's not something that's tracked by the computer with a number. Everybody's so worried about the numbers and not even paying attention to what's actually being experienced by the customers. And I would have liked to have been able to help more, but I really couldn't. I didn't understand anything to do, and I didn't really understand anything they were asking me. And all I could say is, I'm sorry, I can't help with that. You're asking the wrong person. I don't like situations like that. I had some other stuff I want to talk about at Domino's, but I've wasted entirely too much video on this stuff, and it's probably boring as fuck to everybody else. But if you listen, thanks for listening.